Now imagine for a second you have something to say, something important, something funny, something deeply personal, but you physically cannot speak. For many children and adults right now here in KZN, that's a daily reality. But today, we're talking to an organization that is literally giving people their voices back. Interface KZN is doing incredible work using something called augmentative and alternative communication. That's everything from symbols and pictures to speech generation and helping people connect, express themselves, and be heard. So just to hear more about this and have this conversation, we've got Dineo here. Good morning, Dineo.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. We're so happy to have you here. We've been thinking we're going to talk about autism because it's Autism Month, but it seems like it's a deeper conversation.
It is.
So please tell us, what is augmentative and alternative communication?
So basically what that is communicating in any other means other than speaking. So that is using sign language, using facial expressions, gestures, using laptops, using phones. WhatsApping is also part of AAC.
Yeah.
So anything that you're using to get your message across other than speaking, that is AAC.
Okay. And is it based on people with autism or?
Yes. So with autism,
Yeah.
most of our autistic individuals are either non-speaking or minimally speaking. So they can't rely on their speech to communicate.
Yeah.
So they're going to need something else to help them to communicate. So that's where AAC comes in. So we
Okay.
use it with individuals with autism, with cerebral palsy. So basically anyone who can't rely on their natural speech to communicate.
Yes. Okay, let's take a few steps back then. Let's talk about autism. What is autism? Let's speak about what autism is in layman's terms, because we were talking behind the scenes that we see love on the spectrum and
yes.
we see these people speaking, dating, no problem. And you here telling us that based on autism, you could have augmented speech. So
Yes.
can you tell us what is autism and what is the spectrums and everything
Yes.
about it? I'm not even going to try and pretend I know it.
Yeah. Okay, so we call it autism spectrum disorder.
Okay.
So what that is basically a neurodevelopmental condition where it affects how people perceive the world.
Right.
So it's a brain difference, and it shapes how individuals interact with the world. So their behavior, how they are interpreting senses as well, and also that also affects their interests and
Yeah.
their movements, and also their speech, their communication.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is a spectrum. So you get from individuals who are non-speaking to individuals who are super intelligent. So it is a spectrum. So not one individual is the same.
Okay. So if I'm a parent and I'd like to know if my child is autistic or not, how do I measure? What is the scale? And, which professional deals with this?
So usually you'll see it around 2 years old. So, your child, there's milestones.
Okay.
So then maybe your child is non-speaking, or you see that they prefer sameness. They prefer to do things exactly the same way.
Okay.
So they have repetitive movements. They have certain things that they do. So if you see that your child is not developing how you would think that your child would be developing, then that would be your first thought that maybe there is something here.
Okay.
And then you get a diagnosis from a pediatrician or a psychologist.
Okay.
Hello Dineo. I recall watching the shows that we were talking about, Love on
Yeah.
the Spectrum, The Good Doctor, those types of
Yes.
things that they put on the TV. And they talk about different spectrums like you've been discussing now.
Yeah.
At what point in the diagnosis does someone go, wow, the spectrum's quite high, for lack of a better word, and now we get referred to you?
So again, when they are still very little, because you can see, you get a 5-year-old who is not speaking, or who can only ask for basic things, can say water, toilet, but not really use sentences.
Okay.
Then at that age that this is not how they're supposed to be communicating.
Yes.
Then that's where then you go to a speech therapist or organizations like Interface KZN to get access to see how then can they get help.
Okay, and you keep talking about like young people. Can autism develop later on in life? So if I've got to my 40s like I have now, would there be something to look out for in me? And now I need to go and have a look at myself 40 years on.
Yeah. It's a neurodevelopmental thing, meaning that, it comes from when you're still like little. So you can't develop autism as an adult. Maybe you had it all along. You just were coping. Yes, but you cannot develop autism as an adult.
Okay. So at what point then would it be safe, for lack of a better word, to be like, okay, I think my child does not have autism, and we move on?
Yeah.
So do we stop at like 10 years old and be like, okay, he or she's cool?
No, it's either you have autism or you don't. And, there's a lot of theories out there. Sometimes, people are misdiagnosed. Maybe they didn't have autism. It was something else. So, but
what would the misdiagnosis be usually? Like ADHD?
It can be ADHD, but sometimes, there's a lot of theories out there that food also affects how someone develops.
Wow.
Yes.
And now with the screens, you get these kids who are always on their screens, and that also affects their brain. That also affects how they interact with others.
Yes.
That can be misdiagnosed with autism, but it's not necessarily autism. So if you have autism, it's consistent throughout your whole life.
Okay. So what do you find are the biggest misconceptions about non-speaking individuals? What are your biggest frustrations? That's fine. That's fine.
It's that they are not intelligent. I found that people think that if you are non-speaking, then there's nothing in your brain, and that's not the case. We have individuals who are very smart, they just don't have the words, and that not speaking does not necessarily mean that non-communicating. You can communicate in different ways.
So what are the tools that you use to help these individuals?
We use communication books that we create specifically for the individual. So you look at someone and you do assessments, and then you get to see which book will be applicable for them. And then we also use iPads, tablets, and they have specific communication apps on them that they use to communicate.
Okay. So how can somebody listening right now support Interface KZN?
They can donate to us. There's an SMS that they can do.
Please give us the number.
Okay, I have to first search it from
Okay,
my phone.
no problem. We can do it later.
And
their website, maybe social media.
Yeah, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram and TikTok. As Interface KZN, and then we also have a website, Interface KZN, and because we are also an NPO. There's also our banking details there and Zappa if someone wishes to donate to us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dineo. In closing, I just want to ask you a personal question. What does having a voice mean to you?
It means being my authentic self, being your authentic self and getting to communicate anything and everything that you want to say to anyone that you want to say it to.
Oh, man. I love that so much.
Also, yes.
I love that. And that speaks to what we're doing here. Because what we do here is largely, in fact, only based on speaking. And I think having you here just made me appreciate more having my voice. I don't know about you guys.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Blessed with a voice to be able to say things.
Exactly.
And have an impact on this platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dineo. That was Dineo from Interface KZN. Sorry, they're doing incredible work and something to do with augmentative and alternative communication. They are there to help people with autism who are on the spectrum that disallows them to speak. And if you'd like to support them in any way, you can jump onto all the social media, Interface KZN. They also have a website and check them out if you support them in any way that you can. It can be an old iPad, iPad, it can be money, it can be your time. If you are a professional, we'd love for you to support them in any way you can. That was Interface KZN. Thank you so much, Dineo.
Thank you so much for
Our new
having
friend
me.
of KZN. Come back anytime.
Thank you so much.